matching GPUs, none of which were pre-overclocked out of the box. Also, in order to further level the playing field here, these laptops output their display signals to an external monitor rather than their internal displays. Now you might be wondering why we're using the Ryzen 9000 series CPUs instead of Intel's 200HX series, and there's a few reasons for that. First of all, the 9955HX and HX3E have benchmark metrics that are within spitting distance of their desktop counterparts, even in lightly threaded workloads. Also, the 9955HX series tends to outperform Intel's 200 series CPUs in gaming, and that reduces the chances of CPU bottlenecking here. So it was a natural fit. So I think we can all agree, one of the most hotly debated topics in the whole laptop versus desktop GPU conversation is how these things are named by NVIDIA, right? Because every single laptop GPU has a corresponding desktop GPU that has basically the exact same name. So on paper, when you're first looking at these things, it might look like, hey, look, 5090 on the desktop is the same as the laptop, but that is not true whatsoever, at least not with the high-end GPUs. So a laptop RTX 5090 actually gets less cores than a desktop 5080, and the memory side of the equation gets a major cut too. The same can be said of the 5080, which gets about 1,300 less cores than the desktop RTX 5070 Ti, while offering a similar memory layout. The RTX 5070 Ti laptop GPU, meanwhile, gets the exact same treatment as the 5090, with a ton less cores and a slashed memory interface too. As a matter of fact, the laptop 5070 Ti's direct analog on the desktop side is actually the RTX 5070. The cuts do continue as we go lower in the product stack, with the RTX 5070 just getting massacred in every way possible. I'd say it's close to a desktop RTX 5060 Ti, but it actually gets less memory than the 16GB version of that specific card. Frequencies and core counts take it on the chin too. Not only that, but it runs at a maximum of just 100 watts, putting it in line with the much lower end RTX 5060 and 5050. And that RTX 5060, well, this is where the specification gap between laptop and desktop GPUs starts narrowing quite a bit. There's a cut of just 500 CUDA cores versus the desktop part, and it operates at a very similar frequency if given enough power. But to me, the RTX 5050 laptop GPU is probably the most interesting one here. Not only does it have the exact same number of cores, but it also uses GDDR7 instead of GDDR6, which leads to vastly improved bandwidth.
Yes.
And if a laptop manufacturer
Everyone in the village said they can help
juice,
too.
it can actually run at higher
All right, then.
frequencies than a desktop RTX 5050 graphics card. And speaking of power, I think this will be a section that we have to get into in a ton of
All right,
because
time to get
power
serious.
is a critical differentiating factor between laptop GPUs and their
Right.
desktop counterparts. Basically, what you see is what you get on the desktop, but with laptops, it can vary just so much. And this is something that will either make or break.
I'm happy to help
laptops.
anytime.
For a higher level view, let's plot the official maximum CGP of desktop cards, and then overlay the laptop GPUs. Since laptops have much less thermal capacity, GPUs in this space are specifically tuned to run in much lower power envelopes. In addition to that, every one of them also has a pretty wide power range. If we drill down just a bit further, they can need as little as 35 watts all the way up to an RTX 5090's 150 watts. This is basically done to accommodate a huge number of different laptop designs and their highly variable cooling capabilities. So if we bring an RTX 5090 laptop example into this with the MSI Raider we're using for all of the benchmarks in this video, it also varies its power input on a game-dependent basis. But it's a thick boy that weighs over 7 pounds, giving it the space for a pretty massive cooling assembly. So let's add the much thinner and lighter Blade 16 to this, and its 5090 naturally has access to substantially less power, and that will lead to lower core frequencies and yes, less performance, actually up to 30% in some of our testing. The other wrinkle in this fabric for laptops is dynamic boost. It's supposed to dynamically shift power from the CPU to the GPU.
The guild sent us supply items.
Laptop power and add dynamic boost to the 57 Ti and 25 more headroom than a 57 get up to 50. Seems like a lot, but I can see how this can lead to a very large
Go on music!
So while there's still a massive gap between the 259
Look out!
with any entry-level computer. But the RTX 5050 is consistently beating its desktop counterpart. It happens in Cyberpunk 2 with the
More supplies have been
5060
added.
going in on the party and a certain maximum output with more power-hungry signals. Still though, it's sad to see the RTX 5070 struggling so hard.
Alright,
NVIDIA
time to get serious.
make this thing so much
Me down. Just traps down and ready for you. Your thing, Plunderer. Oh, right! Perfectly plundered. Looks like it's moving to a new area. Remember the card that severed bonds.
because for every space marine you see it through, there's a complex type situation. Gets extremely by the desktop.
A little gathering goes a long way.
The RTX 50 even uses to its desktop
These might be traps. Bombs away! Almost done.
And that's the story that we're seeing with the RTX 5060 and 5050. Those two laptop GPUs basically buck every single assumption that's out there that says a laptop GPU does not equal desktop GPU. Those things, they either match or vast majority of games, but the biggest gap in most clock speeds directly correlate to games where it won. So basically, what's happening here is that the higher clock speeds are offsetting the fact that it has a lower number of CUDA cores. On the 5050 side, this situation becomes even more apparent, mostly because the desktop card is so poorly used. Not only does it have access to significantly less memory bandwidth, but wherever the laptop card comes out ahead on the most, its core speed high-end laptop and desktop GPUs and run them at 4K. And I'm gonna blitz through this pretty quickly because the positioning of these GPUs doesn't really change all that much from one to another. We're now seeing the desktop 59 going way further ahead, often doubling laptop GPU performance, while the 1% lows get to even more extreme levels. In addition to that, while there is a massive, Grand Canyon-sized gap
Right.
between the RTX
I'm here. You need me.
59 desktop parts, those same GPUs are often less than 20% apart on the laptop side in 4K. To me, that causes a bit of an identity crisis for NVIDIA flagship GPUs, since neither is really well positioned for 4K gaming without significantly lowering details. So if you're buying a laptop for gaming exclusively, I'd recommend skipping that pricey UHD screen upgrade if you can avoid it. You'll never want to gain that resolution due to the performance drop-off from these laptop GPUs. I also need to call your attention here to the RTX 5080 and 5070.
Support you to the best of my ability. Good luck.
A little bit further ahead. Seriously, let's avoid 4K gaming on laptops. So that rounds up the reason that at this point, this is not where we stop. Systems
There, huh? Okay. Time to go on the offensive. Wow, what a view!
since none are under 60 laptops.
All ready when you are! Leave this to me! Wheels inbound!
that it's not going to be pricing. And the reason for that is this crazy fast moving cart, right?
New supply items are in. They're in your sequence pouch.
Heavy discount. Because of the fact that they're just not selling as well as they should be. So what I say today is part of
You didn't even know I hit him!
category. But what I want is I want to get rid of this ridiculous GPU thing that's at the end of every single one of these GPUs because nobody reads that anyway. Those GPUs, they know it's on a laptop. What I want to see bring back is the M for mobile. RTX 5090M.
Time to get serious.
Different products make that differentiation.
Yikes,
part of
spikes.
the actual
Those
game.
could come in
Anyways,
handy
I
on a
think
hunt.
this whole insane in-depth video. Everyone needs some clarity, not some crazy.
You're not taking me down.
But anyways, I might have helped enough. I will see you in the next one. Have a great day, guys.
Black legs, just a little more. Jack traps down and ready for ya. 进化，吸进了开花，在水里突围进化，这个你没办法，在水里突围进化，吸进了开花。Okay, see you later. 心跳爆掉，我已经无可救药，一拳当下，什么都解得了，不准无聊，无法面都要他吵，我都不用再学发笑，跳爆掉，我已经无可救药，一拳当下，什么都解得了，不准无聊，无法面都要他吵，我都不用再学发笑。
Yours been doing well.
Like a handshake. Come on over.
Yeah. Challenging quest, but that just makes for a sweeter victory. A supply shipment. Hope you find something useful.
欧洲制衡美国的一个超必杀技。当然了，现在谁也不知道主权持仓更多还是私人资本更多，但唯一能确定的是，美欧之间已经形成了信任裂痕，在接下来修复裂痕的等待期内，选择阻力最小的黄金就成为了市场共识。眼前的临界点，美国消费者的资产负债表正在亮起红灯，违约率已攀升至近10年来的最高水平。这是否预示着一直支撑美国经济的消费引擎正在熄火？一起来看一下。据彭博社报道，纽约联储周二发布的最新数据显示，去年4季度美国从按揭贷款到信用卡的各类贷款拖欠率已攀升至2017年以来的最高水平 4.8%。恶化数据主要由低收入群体和年轻借款人的违约增加所驱动。从细分数据中可以看到，严重拖欠，也就是逾期90天以上的比例升至 12.7%， 这是自2011年1季度以来的最高点。而汽车贷款的严重拖欠率也攀升至 5.2%， 逼近2010年的历史高位。与此同时，随着疫情期间的支付暂停政策结束，学生贷款的违约情况出现激增。并且曾经那种靠借新还旧维持的消费韧性，可能已接近了临界点。因此，我认为，如果消费开始自工薪阶层开始往上收缩，那么今年消费大年的投资逻辑或许会面临更多挑战。但从另一个角度说，白宫在中期选举和底层可负担性问题的压力下，也可能会释放出更积极的民生政策。或许明天的非农数据就会加速这一进程吧。人效比。 技术的员工被视为人力资本，他们主要通过股票获得巨额回报，这进一步模糊了资本与劳动的界限。甚至出现了一种被称为人才收购的现象，例如 Meta 斥资140亿美元入股了 Scale AI， 其核心目的就是为了抢劫人才。其次 ，Greg 认为疫情后的经济复苏加剧了这一分化。自2019年底以来，尽管名义工资有所上涨，但剔除通胀后，普通工人的实际工资仅上涨了3%，相比之下，同期企业利润却飙升了43%。这直接导致了家庭财富结构的质变。比如，目前美国家庭的股票财富已接近年度可支配收入的300%，而2019年这一比例仅为200%。这种巨大的财富效应意味着，对富裕阶层而言，股市的涨跌比工资的涨跌更能决定他们的消费能力。这也是为什么就业增长平淡，但只要股市再涨，整体经济数据依然坚挺。更令人担忧的是，人工智能的普及可能会让这一趋势进一步恶化。耶鲁大学经济学家 Bryce Trapler 就指出，随着企业将 AI 整合到运营中，分配给劳动力的收入份额将进一步缩水，就像过去几十年自动化技术在制造业中所做的那样。Anthropic 的首席执行官 Amody 更表示 ，AI 不仅仅是替代特定的工作任务，它是人类劳动的通用替代品。未来可能出现的情况是，大型企业整体被颠覆，取而代之的是劳动力密集度极低的初创公司。这一转变已经出现端倪。就在上周 ，Anthropic 发布的工具直接导致了相关软件公司的股价大跌。虽然这一进程会产生赢家，比如股东有社交技能或从事必须现场服务工作的劳动者，但对于被取代的白领阶层来说，可以说前方充满了挑战。Greg 最后总结到，现在一方面是股市的狂欢和企业的巨额利润，另一方面是普通家庭对经济前景的悲观。也许在这个新时代的经济逻辑里，最大的赢家始终是资本和股东。Jason 认为这篇文章给我们描绘了一个非常长期的致富逻辑。在劳动力价值持续缩水，企业盈利和资本杠杆占据价值增长的主体后，对于普通人而言，我们的致富逻辑也需要发生改变。以前一份好工作，兢兢业业干活，这一辈子就能过得不错。但现在，随着 AI 的持续发展，劳动力的价值将大幅折扣，资本的防御效应将会越来越强。上一条新闻我们已经说过，底层劳动者正在开始面临考验。作为普通人，我们唯一能做的就是努力去分析。 不要去看鲁特尼克收了什么，不用在意100%关税或者什么威胁，盯住大科技的资本开支，只要 AI 还有需求，台积电就不会放缓，对半导体的关税就很难生效，台湾也仍然在牌桌上。反之，如果哪天 AI 破灭了，芯片需求大幅放缓了，台湾才会失去规定屏障，世界也会走向下一个乱纪元。债券发行量将激增，并对信贷利差构成长期压力。第二，阿布扎比投资公司 MGX 正深入谈判，拟向 Anthropic 注资数十亿美元。作为 Anthropic200亿美元新一轮融资的一部分，此交易助推该公司估值达到3500亿美元。MGX 通过
会议，以及习近平年底呢可能会赴白宫访问，但是这些访问中方目前都没有明确的回应啊，全部都是美方单独的在放消息哈，甚至呢在川习通话前发布的时候传出这个路呢要商业银行去减持美债，这是不是你中方不太给美国面子啊？而且现在我看到了美国官员呢上周访华的时候呢，财政部长贝森特呢，就说非常期待中美继续能够来进行合作性的建设，那么并且在未来几周呢，保持积极的势头，为下一次面对面会晤做好准备。又是美国官员访问访华，然后又是要筹备贝森特跟何立峰会面，看起来美方似乎是真的比较想要见中方的哈。那另外我们来看到企业的部分啊，现在比亚迪呢是起诉了川普政府，要求要退还自去年4月所缴纳的关税哈。这是呢比亚迪首次就美国关税提起诉讼哦。那么其实之前呢就已经有数千家在美国展开业务的跨国公司也都提出了。